That's the aspect of leadership that I enjoy the most is how do I empower the people around me to really unlock their potential and help them see things that they don't see in themselves. It's not about micromanaging my team. It never has been. I know that I can't do it all. I learned that very quickly when I started the business. I'm like, I cannot have my hand in everything because nothing's going to get done. Strategic planning is a core part of how we scaled this business. So it just all starts with setting a big picture and understanding what the long-term goals are, and then breaking those down into small steps, small actionable steps, and saying, okay, this team's responsible for this team's responsible for that, and involving them in the process. SEO isn't a black and white thing. It never has been, and I don't foresee that it ever will be.
Our guest today is Yvette Valencia. With over 15 years of experience in content marketing, Yvette is the founder and CEO of We Do Web Content, a top-tier digital marketing agency for law firms that has been featured in publications such as Forbes, Search Engine General, SEMrush, HubSpot, and Entrepreneur. She holds a 6 Sigma Green Belt certification and has developed a proven and scalable process for creating high-ranking website content for attorneys. Now, under her leadership, We Do Web Content has earned its place as one of Inc.'s 5,000 fastest growing private businesses in America, solidifying her reputation as a content marketing expert. She is passionate about helping law firms grow their online presence and generate more leads through quality content and SEO strategies. She is a proud Latina entrepreneur who strives to inspire and empower other women in the industry. Yvette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm happy to be here.
It is totally my pleasure. I'm really looking forward to this. We spoke a little bit offline, and I'm like, we hit it off, and I'm like, I can't wait to get you on and record and pick your brain on a bunch of different things. And I want to jump right in what I'll describe as building a successful business from the ground up, which may sound like a cliche to some people, but I want folks to hear from your journey and the pitfalls and tips and what can they avoid of growing a business literally from the ground up.
Yeah, I'd love to answer that question. So entrepreneurship was never modeled to me. I really had no idea that that would be a path that I would go down years down the road in my life. But, it happened and I embraced it. And it was both exciting and daunting at the same time. And really, my approach with starting the business was after a light bulb went off. But it was rooted in solving a clear problem. And that was that many law firms needed help building an online presence. When we started We Do Web back in 2009, most attorneys, if they had a website, it was very much like a brochure. And let alone, it did not have any content informing potential clients what they did and how they could help. So I saw that real need. And because of my background in training and development, I knew it was important to educate my clients, prospective clients, on how they can help. And so it just started there. And I focused on creating an efficient system or systems that we could scale that would also ensure that we delivered consistent, high quality results. And the biggest challenges in the beginning were resource constraints. I didn't have a lot of money to start with. I really just, I kind of partnered with the attorney that I helped launch his website and how the idea was born. And he helped me with developing my website for our business. And, it really boiled down to resource constraints and gaining credibility. And I was able to do that through his website after showing incredible results within 3 to 4 months of launching the site. And, just being very hands-on with everything, whether it was marketing myself, client relations, operations, and just finding ways to deliver more value than expected, even with very little resources.
So when you started, how many employees were there?
So it was myself and 3 other writers/editors and, 2. It started with 2. And then we had maybe a handful of freelance writers as well that we trained and we still continue that same training program, but we put them through a very rigorous training program on how to write content for lawyers.
Yep. And then what's your staff look like today?
So today we still maintain a pretty lean staff. We're at about 25 internal people. And we have a hybrid staff of agencies that we work with and freelance people. So I would say that adds maybe 80 to 90 additional people.
Okay. And where do you see the 1, 3, 5-year plan? Where do you see the company?
So really we've never put a huge push on marketing ourselves, like in a traditional sense. And so, everything's been word of mouth for the last 15 years. But as the industry becomes more and more competitive, now we're really putting our heads around how do we differentiate ourselves in a much more saturated market and market ourselves as the pioneers of it all. We very much paved the way for a lot of the agencies that are out now. And so basically saying, we stuck our flag in the ground a long time ago, and here's why we're still around, and here's why we're the best. So really just growing revenue through intentional marketing, both online and that includes social media. And not really growing the staff too much, but really focusing on developing our internal SEO department and the resources that we already have. Growing their knowledge in SEO, because it's just this ever evolving thing. But I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. Without question. So you've been at this for 15 years, right? Give or take. Yep. A lot of lessons. And I want to focus on leadership lessons. And, I speak to leaders all the time. And I know any good leader, shares some common traits. And one of them at the near top is you don't know everything, and you can always learn from others.
Absolutely.
So, right. So I want you to, share some of the principles, right, about managing diverse teams, collaboration, how do you keep them motivated, and then accountability. There's a lot of things that go into leading a team. And after 15 years, I'm sure you've experienced a lot. So please share.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, that's the aspect of leadership that I enjoy the most is how do I empower the people around me to really unlock their potential and help them see things that they don't see in themselves. And that was one of the big things I brought from the corporate world was the development aspect of my position that I held there for 7 years was building trust by being completely transparent with my staff, always keeping them in the loop about how the company's performing, where we're going, understanding the why of what we do, because I think it's important for everyone to feel like they're contributing and what they're contributing is impactful. And so it's about building trust and empowering people to own their work. And it all starts with the way I hire people. I look for people who embody those values of respect, integrity, working with their heart, and, not just looking at this like a 9-to-5 type thing, but rather, they really care about making an impact. They understand that what we're doing goes beyond marketing. It's really helping people. It's helping people understand the legal situation that they're in and what avenues they have to resolve that issue, and that there are good law firms out there ready and willing to help them. So it's not about micromanaging my team. It never has been. I know that I can't do it all. I learned that very quickly when I started the business. I'm like, I cannot have my hand in everything because nothing's going to get done. I need to be able to think. I need to think big picture. I need to think strategy. And so how do I do that? It's delegating. It's, training up the people below me so that they can assume the responsibilities that I just can't handle because I got to be more of that visionary person. Yep. So, and I hate micromanaging. That's why it takes me so long to hire people, because I need to feel like I can trust the person to understand the urgency of the things they need to accomplish so that the machine keeps going. And so it's giving them the tools, the training, and the support they need to succeed. I'm a clear communicator. Like I said, I'm very transparent, and so is all of our management. And it's about setting expectations early, right from the first interview I have with people. And, I've had lots of my, people that I've hired say to me, I've never I've never experienced an interview like I had with you. And it's because I really want to get to know this person and I want to understand where their heart is and how they're going to perform as an employee.
I love, love, love hearing you say that. It's so refreshing. And before I move on, I want to touch on something that I read on your bio on the company website about, and I'm paraphrasing, but about you never want to be the smartest person in the room.
Oh yeah, that is very true. And, and I still adhere to that, such a wise saying. I don't want to ever be the smartest person in the room. And I'm constantly looking for people to fill those gaps where I know that's not my strength. It's important to play to your strengths. You asked me, during our first conversation to talk about the SEO aspect of things. And I told you, Steve, that's not my strength. My strength is operations. And I can, put a meme process together. I mean, look at it. It's worked for 15 years. It's scalable. It's proven. It's amazing. That's my strength. And so once I recognized that business development wasn't my strength, I brought, someone in who understood that and was very successful at that and was able to grow our business tremendously because of it.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I look for the right people. I don't care where the idea comes from. It doesn't have to be mine. If it's great, then we're going to run with it.
I think the quote is mostly, I always hear it attributed to Steve Jobs, the one about you don't want to be the smartest person. I don't know if he's the first one to say, but that's the one that I remember. And the other anecdote I like to tell from Steve Jobs is going back to when they first started the company, and him and Steve Wozniak were standing in front of a group of engineers, and he said to them point blank, "We did not hire you to tell you what to do. We hired you so you'll tell us what to do."
I love that. Yeah, tell me what to do all day long.
Right?
I much rather that. It's much easier to do what you're told than it is to figure it all out. Yeah.
I tell people all the time, just tell me what to do. Put it on my calendar. I take orders. I take orders really well.
So do I. Yes.
So by all means, use that anecdote because I reference it all the time.
I will. I'm going to put that one in my back pocket.
I love it. I want to move on to a word that gets bandied about a lot these days, and it's culture, and especially inclusive culture. And I know you've worked really hard on creating and sustaining that inclusive culture.
Yeah.
How? Like, not to sound obvious, but lots of people talk about it, and you know this, and lots of people have best intentions. And either within 2 or 3 months, it falls by the wayside, and it's all lip service. 15 years speaks for itself. How do you do it? How do you maintain it? What's the best way to do this?
Oh gosh. I don't know that I have the secret formula or the best way to do it. For me, again, I mentioned this earlier, inclusivity is deeply personal for me. I did not have, even though there were lots of women in the media and just women in business who inspired me and who I aspired to be, none of them really looked like me or came from a background like me. And, there wasn't a lot of, I didn't feel like I was always part of it or part of the conversation. So I focus on fostering an environment where open communication is number one, respect, mutual support. All of those core values are important for someone to feel included. And again, it goes back to how I hire people. I look for people who not only have the right skills, but also embody this mindset of collaboration and growth. And it starts with me. It starts with the other leaders on my team. And we have to be transparent. We have to encourage feedback. And, feedback goes along with respect. It's like I tell my kids, if you don't understand something or if you don't agree with something I'm asking you to do, you can say it. But you should find the best way to say it. Be respectful. Come from a heart of curiosity rather than of defensiveness or feeling like you're above what you're being asked to do.
Exactly. And the worst thing is don't ask in the first place.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, because you don't lose anything by asking. And, we might not always hear what we want, but I believe that transparency is so key in just, fostering a healthy culture where everyone feels like they have a voice and they are contributing to the direction in which the company is moving in. Mentoring is huge, and career development is at the core of that. And, we, like I said, we all play to our strengths. And so if I see that someone lacks in an area, then I'm going to spark that curiosity and move them into places where they might be exposed to new skills, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things, and just helping people see a clear path for growth. That's really important.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. We're going to get back to our show in one quick second, but stay with me. If you're in the need for anything SEO and or link building related, you need to do yourself one quick favor. You need to go to the website that's on the screen right now, stanventures.com. Go there, tell them Steve O sent you. The rest will take care of itself. Trust me. You can thank me later. Well, you must have been reading my mind, because that's what I was going to talk about next. Because you talked about your interviewing style and your methods, and that's innovative. But I also know from talking to you have what you call innovative HR practices for growth and retention, training and keeping them engaged. You mentioned mentorship, creative incentives, right? I want to expand on that, because that's really important, not just growing, but retaining the best people. Yeah,
I believe that the key to retaining people is giving them a clear career path. People want to see, you have people who are content doing what they're doing. And, they don't want to be a manager. They don't want to be a supervisor. They don't want, they don't aspire to lead a team. And that's great. We need those kind of people too. What's really important is before we start anyone, once we make an offer and the offer is accepted, my team gets together and says, okay, what are this person's goals? Their first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And we have a very clear 90-day plan, because that's the period that we're really getting to know each other. Yep. One, we're going to get to see how you work and whether you're going to be the right fit for us. And two, the person's going to be able to see whether this is something they see themselves doing in the long term. So that first 90 days is critical. Then after that, we develop a 6-month plan where we continue with goals, and they could expand on the ones that were outlined in the first 90 days, or they can be completely new. It always involves acquiring new knowledge, new skills, and that happens twice a year. So those reviews are critical to any employee's success. And I think that it really helps them to see, hey, we care about you. We want you to be upskilling and leveling up every 6 months, every year at least. And we do that because we care. We want you to be marketable. We want you to, to foster that growth mindset, not, stay stagnant. Even if the person doesn't want to lead a team, we still want them, because we do SEO, we do content, we do all of those things. How can you learn more about all of the other things that we do that you're maybe not directly doing on a day-to-day basis, but, that deeper understanding really does a lot for your confidence. So just that clear roadmap for growth that employees could follow is super important. Mentorships, like you said, shadowing opportunities. Yep. Incentives based on performance, just recognizing that people learn differently, and then creating programs that speak to all of the ways in which people learn. And so we do video, we do face-to-face, we do, town halls, all those kinds of things all help people to grow and help the company to retain valuable talent. Yep. The proof's in the pudding kind of thing. I would imagine your retention rate is very high. It is. Yeah. Thankfully. Well, it's I don't like letting anyone go. And that's it. After 15 years, that's still one of the hardest things to do. And I hate it. And that's why it takes me so long. Someone gave me this piece of advice in starting this business. And he told me, hire slow, fire fast. And I've kept that to my heart, because it's so true. If you take time in hiring the right people, the chances of you having to let them go really are significantly decreased. Yep. Without question. That's almost, dare I say, scientifically proven. So, okay. We talked about measurable goals for the individuals. Let's talk more holistic about how you work to develop and do strategic plans and set measurable goals for the company for that sustainable growth. Sustainable is a big word, right? Obviously. So I don't mean it in that way, though. Like we're not doing it. Yeah. No, I didn't mean it from the nature way. I just meant ongoing.
But thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
But talk to us about, strategic planning for long-term business success.
So strategic planning is at the core of, is a core part of how we scaled this business. So it just all starts with setting a big picture and understanding what the long-term goals are, and then breaking those down into small steps, small actionable steps, and saying, okay, this team's responsible for this team's responsible for that, and involving them in the process. And we do that through our leadership meetings that we hold every quarter, so that people understand how their work fits into the bigger picture and that they're more engaged. And I review our plans and processes frequently, and being adaptable is vital to sustaining the business. And you got to be responsive to changes in the market, and technology, especially. It's constantly changing, especially with the type of work that we do as an agency. And sometimes, my team gets frustrated with that. And it's, SEO isn't a black and white thing. It never has been. And I don't foresee that it ever will be. And so, that encouragement of, hey guys, we got to stay adaptable here. We got to be nimble, and we got to move with the changes. And that helps us stay ahead. So consistent measurement and tracking keeps us aligned and accountable with the strategic vision for the company.
So the last thing I want to touch on kind of piggybacks onto what you just said about like balancing that vision and execution. And that's, to me, it's the classic one eye on the present, one eye on the future. Yeah. And that's not easy.
No, it's a juggling act.
It is. So talk to me about, how do you do that? What can others learn? Because it's so much easier said than done.
Yeah. I have to plan these beautiful vacations in between to just kind of recharge and get new scenery into my brain, and just give myself that space to be able to see big picture things and visualize what we need to improve or where we need to go next. But the why is always behind what we're doing. Why are we doing this? And communicating that clearly to the team, and reminding myself in the process too. And from there, I break down, again, just the same thing with the strategy, is breaking down the vision into specific goals, and executing by delegation, with trust, because I know I can't do it all myself. And I know that how important and valuable our team is to the company, because really without them, I know it sounds cliche, but nothing would get done. And so just making sure you build a team that could take ownership of their work and what they do, and regular check-ins, course correction helps keep everything on track. But the real key is staying flexible and keeping that end goal in sight.
It's very much, to me, where you lean on your team as well, because for the simple, very obvious fact that you can't know everything. You can't pick up on every trend. You can't hear about the latest thing that's happening in the current versus the trend. So you need your team to, hey, did you hear about this?
Yeah. And that does happen every week. Hey guys, did you? Yeah. Our weekly staff meetings are filled with those kinds of news, those headlines that come through. Hey, so-and-so just bought, this company just bought this company. What do you guys think of that? Where do you see that technology now, or what's going to happen? Yeah.
I love it. Well, listen, I cannot thank you. What an absolutely joy you are. You were so inspiring. What a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, I'm the guy from the video you just saw. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Now do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our content. Believe it or not, unconfirmed rumors and reports, you will see an increase in 20% in organic traffic just by subscribing. Okay, maybe not, but it's fun, right? But do yourself a favor, really. Subscribe to our content. You won't be sorry. Thanks.